Thank you for joining us for this episode of CNTV. I'm Brad Clonch.
And I'm Quin Tran. If you participate in a sport, you know the important role that coaches play.
Especially in the lives of young people. Coaches dedicate their lives to helping students grow.
A Chickasaw coach and his wife have spent the past 2 decades showing students how to win on the field, the court, and in daily life.
When you're coaching football, you're all wanting to win on Friday night, but in reality, you want them guys to be good, great husbands when they get older and good fathers. So the most important thing is just getting their structure and discipline in life. I'm a football junkie. People that know me know that, but I'm also a daughter junkie. I coached them in Little League, and I made a promise years ago that I would coach them in high school. And after my 15th year in football, I got out permanently and just focused in on them the past 6 years of coaching them in girls basketball and girls softball. But to me, hopefully, that's what I'm known for is coaching my 2 kids, because it was the best time of my life. And my wife being my assistant throughout the whole time, it was a truly family environment.
We went to Southeastern where we got our bachelor's degree. And from that point in time, we've looked at it as an adventure. We've been to Florida. We've been around Texas. We've always felt that wherever God opened a door for him to coach was where we needed to be. He's learned different coaching philosophies. He's taken his own into perspective to make it something easy for us to follow and for others to lead as well. He's won numerous championships on the field as a football coach, taking a program from nothing and having those kids buy into the system and leading them in the right direction, not only on the field, but off the field.
The kids will teach you just as much as you teach them if you're truly involved with them. So when I'm around the players, a lot of times they're teaching me how to engage and be a part of something special as well, as much as we're teaching them. I think if you're a good coach or a good teacher, you're learning from the kids as well. So I would love to sit here and say every idea that we've come out of has been perfect, but it's not. And sometimes the kids have to find out that life is an imperfect game as well. So they figure the situation out, we figure it out with them, and that's what makes it fun.
Melissa, you started out as a classroom teacher, an English teacher, a coach's wife, a very loyal coach's wife who traveled wherever your husband went. And then along the way, you ended up coaching as well. Tell us about your sport.
A school that we were at when Carrie would have been about in the 8th grade, Katie in the 5th grade. With being across the state of Texas, we've never been close to family. And so we've never been able to drop the girls off at the grandparents for the weekend or anything like that. So we decided to take it upon ourselves that when the girls got old enough that he would introduce me into that part of the spectrum. And so I started as a girls coordinator. I'm always been pretty organized, so that was easy for me. Then having input into the coaching world, starting off with junior high and being able to coach Carrie her 8th grade year, starting off in volleyball and then being his assistant in basketball and then being his assistant in softball. And that grew to the next year. There was an availability for the head volleyball coach. And so I took that and, not knowing any different, made it my own. And I got to coach for the next 5 years as a head volleyball coach. And I have 9 gold championship balls under my belt. And I've been able to coach both of my girls. The year that my oldest was a senior and youngest was a freshman was my best career. I had the most wins, made my 100th win that season, and then went the furthest in playoffs in my career. So that alone, it's one thing to share it with a group of girls, you've trained, but to be able to share that with your daughters and then watch them grow closer together was by far the best. Being exposed to that world, being addicted to the competition and that rush and that adrenaline, seeing potential in players. And so I'm ready to start this next year off on a different transition to start officiating volleyball games. And so I think that I'll have fun doing that. And again, being in the coaching world and knowing officials and knowing the game and knowing other coaches, watching kids that we've coached against, to continue to play year after year. I'm looking forward to it. It'll definitely still be fun, a new adventure.
You mentioned your two daughters, Carrie and Katie. They are excellent athletes. Was that tough to coach your own girls?
Many people tell me there's no way that I could coach my daughter or my son, that I can't get involved. There's too much conflict involved. It's just the opposite with us. We've enjoyed being a part of them, and they enjoyed us being a part of them, a part of together with each other. From a young age, we started with them right away. I mean, we were in the backyard playing catch. Melissa used to get on to me for playing catch in the house around the TV, and it was always something. So they have grown up on a football field or a softball field or a basketball gymnasium. Basketball this year in Anna came a situation where we broke every record there was. We have the most wins in school history. We went 26-9 this year. We won a playoff game for the first time in 34 years. We beat two of their biggest rivalries for the first time in school history. So, I mean, there's been so many positive things. Yes, we did not win a state championship, but there's been so many positives come from learning how to start with nothing and end up with something. And that's what life's about anyways. We all know that. I know my wife and I, we started out with nothing. And we had a TV, and the ice chest was the entertainment center. So to where we are now, we feel extremely blessed, especially with these two children.
And we've taught our girls that too, that we came from nothing, that even though we had family support, we both are first generation college graduates. We're the first ones in our family to go through the education program to teach and coach. And we've raised our girls to know the expectation was, you need to go to college. You need to get that piece of paper. There are so many advantages with having a degree. And what we tell them is no different than what we've told other students as well.
Both of you are Native Americans. Daniel, you're a Chickasaw citizen. How does your tribal heritage and culture influence you on and off the court?
So when people ask me my heritage, I proudly tell them I'm a Chickasaw Native American. And my wife's Pawnee, and both my daughters are registered as Chickasaw, but they're very proud of their Pawnee side as well.
When my husband and I met at Haskell, we really embraced our ethnicity at that point in time as about a 21, 22-year-old at the time. And we ended up being exposed to so many viewpoints that when we raised the girls, that was something that they knew from the beginning. And so we made it a point with the girls to have them be aware that they came from a special background to Native American families, that they have really embraced that and made it part of their identity as well.
What do you both want young people to gain, to know from your mentorship with them?
I want young people to understand that discipline and structure and organization is a big deal. You have to figure out a way to put that in your life, or it's not going to work. I also want them to know that 70% of life is failure. So you better get ready for it. You can have a 300 batting average and people put you in the Hall of Fame. You can shoot the ball 36% of the time and make it 36% of the time, and people think that you're doing a great job. So a lot of life's about failure. It's how you take the successes and what you do with them in order to truly look back and say, I did something. So we want them to understand that, hey, don't give up. Don't quit. Don't ever quit. It's find out what you want to be, because if you figure it out, then you never have to go to work ever, because it's just what you do. So that's what we want to try to develop into the kids is a big word. That we don't ever really know what we've done for that child or that player until they're out of school 4 or 5 years. And then we know, hey, that we had a help in providing them with success, because hopefully they're getting it at home as well. But you never know, them kids. I get calls all the time from kids that are in the Army, that are kids that are ex-players, and just saying, if I did not go through that program, that there's no way I could have done this. So it's a blessing. It truly is.
With both of his girls in college, Daniel Johnson is going back to coaching football. He'll be teaching and coaching at Princeton High School there in Texas this fall, serving as the offensive coordinator.
Melissa Johnson told us she is officially retired from coaching and she now enjoys officiating volleyball games. Chickasaw youth say they had an amazing time taking part in summer sports camps hosted by the Chickasaw Nation. The children beat the heat to participate in outdoor sports like tennis and golf.
We have a driving range that we hit in, putting green, chipping, and just some games you play. If I don't swing correctly, they fix me and tell me how to do it right.
I've learned just to enjoy being out here with everybody else and, just having fun.
The tribe organized a variety of sports camps. The young athletes put in a lot of hard work getting exercise while learning the fundamentals of the game. They do drills, practice good technique, and meet college athletes and coaches who help with the camps.
We don't feel like that they would ever have that opportunity if we don't expose them to it. And so that's what's neat about what the Chickasaw Nation is doing, is giving them opportunities at not just basketball, but many different sports.
I think my favorite part is experiencing something new whenever you don't know, but you just want to try it out.
There's been kids who's come out year after year, and we've seen them grow, and it's really fun to see that. And taking the little ones, and then just every year they get better and better and better.
Now to the Chickasaw Summer Arts Academy held at East Central University, young Chickasaws look forward to the many creative programs offered at the academy. Over the years, the program has expanded to meet the interest of students. They explore their creativity through the culinary arts, textiles, to traditional art, multimedia, theater, and more.
We get to expand our horizons. It's not one thing that we have to be situated in. We learn and grow in all different directions, and especially with a bunch of other students who share your love for the arts, it helps build a community in a way. I have made many friendships here.
More than 400 Chickasaw youth participated in this summer's Arts Academy.
This is a significant time in the history of Fort Washita. Governor Bill Anatubby signed documents that put Fort Washita from fee to trust status, making it under the jurisdiction of the Chickasaw Nation. More restoration plans are ahead for Fort Washita. In 2017, the tribe purchased the site from the Oklahoma Historical Society and led efforts to manage and preserve the grounds.
We have events on site. We have a lot of visitors that come to see the fort. And while they don't actually see the structures which were standing there before, they still can enjoy the historic stories that are told about Fort Washita and what it represents to the Chickasaw Nation.
Fort Washita was built in 1842 as a military post. It's listed on the National Register of Historic Places. In an upcoming episode, we'll explore Fort Washita and its long history with the Chickasaw people.
It's time to wrap up this episode of CNTV. Quinn and I are glad you spent time with us.
We'll see you back here soon.